In a quiet village called Okudili, there was a river that sang every morning. People said the river was home to spirits who could see everything. They said if someone was kind, the river would give them fish and water for their farms. If someone was greedy, the river could vanish and take everything away. In that village lived a little tortoise named Obinna. Obinna was not big or strong, but he was clever. Every morning, he walked slowly along the river, listening to its song. One day, the river whispered to Obinna, "Little one, tomorrow, I will choose one child to carry my message. Be ready." Obinna felt excited. He wanted to help the village. The next morning, some children rushed to the river. They pushed each other and laughed, trying to take more fish than they needed. They did not listen. Obinna remembered the river's words, "Be humble. Be kind." The river spoke again, "Obinna, come close. Follow me." Obinna followed the river's gentle waves. He saw something magical. The river sparkled with golden light, and tiny spirits danced on the surface. They were smiling at him. "Obinna," the river said, "the village must learn kindness. You will help them understand." The little tortoise nodded. "But how can I do that?" he asked. "You must be clever, little one," the river whispered. "Use your mind. Use your heart. Show them the way." Obinna thought carefully. He could have taken all the golden fish for himself. He could have shown off to the other children. But he did not. Instead, he waited until the sun was high, then called all the children near. "Look," Obinna said, pointing to the sparkling river, "see what happens when we are greedy. See what happens when we do not listen." The next morning, Obinna woke up before the sun. The river sparkled like silver. He heard tiny whispers of the river spirits, "Little one, today will be harder, but you are ready." Obinna smiled. He knew that teaching kindness and patience was not easy. Some children still wanted to take more fish than they needed. Some children laughed at Obinna and whispered, "Why listen to a little tortoise?" Obinna ignored them. He knew that true wisdom never shouts. It waits, quietly, and walks with the heart. That afternoon, Obinna noticed a boy named Chuka, sitting alone on the riverbank. Chuka looked sad. His small basket was empty. He hadn't caught any fish. Other children teased him, calling him slow and weak. Obinna slowly walked to Chuka. "Why are you sad, little one?" he asked softly. Chuka looked up. "I try to catch fish, but I'm too small. Everyone laughs at me." Obinna smiled kindly. "Do you know the secret of the river?" he asked. Chuka shook his head. "The river gives to those who are patient," Obinna explained. "Not those who rush, not those who are greedy. Watch me." Obinna dipped his small hands into the river. He waited. He did not grab. He did not pull. He simply listened. And soon, a shiny, golden fish swam into his hands. Chuka's eyes grew wide. "How did you do that?" Obinna laughed softly. "The river teaches us patience, kindness, respect. If you rush, the river hides. If you fight, the river leaves. But if you wait and listen, the river gives everything." Chuka tried again. He waited quietly. He whispered to the river, "Please, little river, help me." And slowly, a small silver fish swam near him. Chuka caught it carefully, smiled, and thanked the river. The other children saw this. They stopped teasing him. They watched. And slowly, one by one, they began to change. They began to listen to Obinna. They began to speak softly to the river. They began to share their fish with those who had none. The river spirits were pleased. They danced above the water. Tiny lights sparkled like fireflies. The villagers who watched from afar could feel a warm joy in their hearts. Even the elders nodded quietly, smiling. Obinna became a hero, not because he was the strongest or fastest, but because he was wise and kind. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Obinna continued to teach children simple lessons every day: share what you have. Help those who are weak. Respect the land and the water. One day, a terrible storm came. The river raged. Trees fell. Children were scared. The adults ran to save their homes. But Obinna stayed calm. He whispered to the river, "Please, little river, guide us." Suddenly, the river calmed. The storm softened. The wind slowed. The village was safe. Everyone gasped. They realized it was not magic alone, it was Obinna's pure heart and respect for the river that had saved them. From that day, the children told stories of Obinna. Mothers whispered to their babies, "Be like Obinna. Be patient, be kind, be clever with your heart." Even the animals seemed to know. Monkeys no longer stole from the river. Birds sang sweeter. The soil felt softer under the feet of those who walked with respect. And Obinna, the little tortoise, smiled quietly every morning by the river, teaching the children, teaching the village, teaching anyone who would listen, strength is not in hands alone. True power is in kindness, patience, and listening. The earth gives to those who care. The river whispers to those who hear. And from that day forward, the river never stopped flowing. The children of Obiara never forgot the wise little tortoise, and generations later, the story was still told, around the fire at night under the shade of palm trees, in the hearts of those who would learn that listening, patience, and kindness are the greatest treasures. The sun rose the next morning. Obinna woke slowly. The river sparkled, and tiny golden lights danced on its surface. He felt something different today, something deeper. The river was calm, but it seemed to hum a quiet song, almost like it was smiling. Obinna knew this day was special. He called the children to the riverbank. This time, even the adults came to watch. Today, Obinna said, "We will learn the greatest lesson the river can teach." The children sat quietly. Some whispered, "What will it be?" Obinna pointed to the river. "See how it flows. See how it gives to everyone without asking for anything in return. That is the way we should live. Be kind to others, give without expecting, and listen, truly listen, to the world around you." He paused, letting the words sink in. The river is alive. The trees are alive. Even the soil beneath our feet is alive. If we harm them, they suffer. If we respect them, they bless us. This is the secret of life. The children nodded. Some smiled. Some thought deeply. Even Chuka, who had once been shy and weak, stood taller, remembering how the river had taught him patience. Just then, a tiny frog leapt from the river. Obinna laughed softly. "Even the smallest creature has a lesson," he said. "Do not forget that everyone, big or small, can teach us something." The river sparkled even brighter, as if agreeing. Fish jumped in joy. Birds circled above. A gentle wind carried the voices of the river spirits, whispering blessings. Obinna smiled. He felt proud, not because of himself, but because the village had learned. The children would grow up understanding kindness, patience, respect, and listening. Years later, when Obinna was old and slow, the river still called him every morning. Children would sit around him, asking to hear the story again. And Obinna would tell it, smiling, always ending with the same words: "The river gives to those who care. The earth listens to those who listen. True strength is in a kind heart. True wisdom is in patience. Always remember this, little ones, and your lives will flow like the river, steady, full, and bright." From that day on, the village of Obiara flourished. The river never stopped flowing. The children grew into adults who treated the earth, the animals, and each other with respect. And long after Obinna had gone to rest, his story lived on, whispered by the river and sung by the wind, teaching every new generation that the greatest treasure is a kind, patient, and listening heart.